Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, talking fishing. If it's facts about fishing that you want to know, then tune in, folks, cause this is the show. We'll show you all the right bait to use, so sit right back, you got nothing to lose. Doesn't really matter if it's trout or carp, flathead, marlin or a gummy shark. Listen to the guys and you can't go wrong. They'll be talking about fishing till the cows come home. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
And welcome everyone to Talking Fishing. Adam, Cara, welcome along too. Great week.
Yep.
I had a question for you both. How did everyone get an RDO last Wednesday?
It's just one of those things.
Last Wednesday was picture perfect.
Every
had all
boat ramp
those
was
rains
full.
and all that. Boat ramps full.
Yep.
How does, well, your husband. What does he do? Cara,
What's he doing
you were
right
telling
now?
us earlier on. What does he do when there's a good weather day?
Oh, he does like to take advantage of good weather, and he will head out for a fish.
Self-imposed RDO.
Self-RDO, yeah. Don't tell any of the clients.
What's he doing right now?
He may be fishing at Albert Park.
That's awesome.
Catching EPs?
Certainly trying anyway.
Well, no, we've got a photo.
Well, he did. He's got one, so I think the flyer will be out next, and he'll be...
I was amazed. I've got to say, last Wednesday I was I did a tour of boat ramps with Travis Dowling, CEO of the Victorian Fisheries Authority, and Catherine Greck, who's the Director of Better Boating Victoria. And we started at Patterson Lakes. Right?
Did you take a set of bolt cutters?
Yeah, well, we needed them because at 9 o'clock in the morning there was lucky to be 4 or 5 car parks left.
Wow.
Right, on a Wednesday because everyone took an RDO. And you know what? The overflow car park gates were locked. Now, what the beef I've got with that is that when Fisheries, who are about to start building a fish cleaning table, which is going to be behind those locked gates, no one's going to be able to get to it. Like, it's just ridiculous. Someone's got to change this stuff. We went from there, we went to Safety Beach, had a look at that, pretty ordinary. Went to Anthony's Nose. Hope you don't mind me. I know people complain about the boat ramps. Go to Anthony's Nose at Dramana. There is a construction site all fenced off with the pipes from a dredger. Over 1 year they've been there.
Wow.
Over 1 year. It's incredible. Went to Tutgarook, totally covered in sand, hasn't been dredged. Went to Tyrone, covered in sand, car parks a debacle, not good. Went to Sorrento, yay, we got some good news. They've actually dredged around the piers. I reckon that's been 5 years in the making.
Okay.
And there's actually water depth there where people can get to all sides of, if you know the jetty on the southern side of Sorrento boat ramp, you can actually use both sides. First time in 5 years. So incredible.
I want to ask you about, later on in the show, I know we've got a lot to get to, but I want to ask you about those smaller ramps like Tutgarook and Tyrone that are sanded over, and
They're
if it's
important
possible
to local communities.
That's right, but is it possible to keep them, I guess, functional with the weather that we've had? I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Absolutely, there is. But folks, let's have a look at what's been caught by the people at home. It's time for Catch of the Week.
Catch of the Week, brought to you by Shimano.
Now, where are my notes? I got some notes here because what I'm doing... Anyway,
a well-oiled machine.
I just wrote some notes, didn't I? About we're making a list. Well, what did I do with it?
I don't know.
We're making a list of fish that you've got to use in your recipes.
Apparently.
I just wrote it.
Well, all you need to know is we're adding
Cara.
2 new ones.
There
Anyway,
you go.
I found my list. All right, here we go. So we've got flounder, we've got brim, and we've got Chinook salmon. So you're getting behind now. You're starting to.
Do you know what's exciting?
Yeah.
I received a message from a viewer after last week's episode on the Chinook salmon.
Yeah.
She has a fantastic Canadian recipe for me.
Ooh, I do it.
So when I get my hands on that salmon,
Yeah.
Nice.
I will pull out that recipe.
Can the
Thank
people
you.
watching on social media, because we are live on Facebook, please tell us about the first catch of the week, which is a zebrafish by Zakia Maloney. Have a look at this from the Real Pier. Are you allowed to keep them and cook them? And can Cara do a good recipe?
It's not small. Yeah, it's not small. It's
That's a cool
nice
looking
pretty looking
fish.
fish, aren't they?
You got a fact about them, and
Well, it could be a fact, David. That's.
I don't know. When you said to me without seeing that photo,
it looks
rubbish. But
it looks like a ludric. And upon seeing the photo, the colours are completely different. So never mind about the
what it is, it's like comparing it. What's the difference between a zebra and a rhinoceros? That's what you're going to say. What's the difference between a zebrafish?
quite a lot.
Whoever told you to do that? Mate,
I wish I said nothing.
All right, now so zebrafish, got that?
Tick.
Right. The next one, right? And I reckon actually these are two species that have never been on Catch of the Week before, and we're going to get yelled at in a minute for taking too much time. Mark and Adam Powell, have a look at this bronze whaler off Lysarts. So we're writing down bronze whaler. I don't know. You're going to need a bigger pan.
I think I might. One of those commercial-sized woks.
I'm not actually sure that you can buy bronze whaler.
I can't say I've ever seen it at any
So what you're going to do is get
before.
Dean to get out with the fly rod.
Catch your bronzy on the fly.
Catch a bronze whaler.
That's an
Do they do
interesting
flies
challenge.
with wire?
Yeah, a lot of people do. Well, not so much these days, but catching makos on fly was a thing for a
Oh,
while.
wow.
Wire. Yeah, there you go. So,
Cool.
so we're a list of 5 fish now for you.
Thanks for
Cara.
that.
All right, and can I just say the rest are snapper. Let's have a look at this. 6-year-old Lennox Foster with her first snapper
Good
of
fish.
Hastings. How good is
Well
that?
done.
Good. Now the snapper fishing it seems to have kicked up a little bit, Dave. I wouldn't say it's going right off
Well,
yet, but
going by the photos,
it's definitely
look at
picked up
percentages. I mean, what we get sent to us. We actually said the top end of Western Port last week was a hot spot because of that warmer temperature. Ian McKay got up there. Have a look at this. Lovely snapper by Ian. Well done.
That's a good fish.
Good looking fish. A great contributor to the show.
I was going to say, regular.
Luciano Cipri. Bit like saying bruschetta.
Bruschetta, bruschetta.
Luciano.
Luciano.
On your Luch, 6.2 kilo snapper off Altona. Again, top end of Port Phillip, a little bit warmer. Not too far away down at Hampton. Have a look at this. Kieran Keating. Lovely fish, Kieran. Well done.
That's a big snapper.
Kieran, thanks for sending it in. Kieran works for Delp, and it's unusual for a Delp employee to actually like fishing at all. Usually Delp people lock us out of fishing. Oh, I'm just saying. Anyway, well done to Kieran.
Stereotyping.
Black Rock, just down the road. Have a look at this. Anton Gusak. Another 8 kilo.
gosh.
So there's this run of 8 kilo
They're big.
fish that are around that area. That's a year class in itself. It's, I don't know. Steve Johnson from Ace Fishing Charter said to us, about 2 weeks ago, he said, wait till the moon on about Thursday last week.
He did too.
He said the fish will enter the bay.
There we go. And they're all 8 kilos.
And all of a sudden we said, well, it's not by coincidence. Have a look at this. Ben Whitelaw with an 8 kilo snapper off Chelsea in 14 metres.
You had a completely different looking fish starting to get that
Not lighter.
bump on the head.
Yeah.
Interesting
Well,
looking fish.
you get that in Cara.
Jeez, you're on fire tonight.
I'll leave it alone.
Just saying. Well done. Darren Nat also fished out of Cara. Have a look at this for a lovely pair of snapper. Well done,
Oh.
Daryl.
They're
Very
not 8
good.
kilos.
Oh, the one on the right.
And they always say small things come from Frankston. Have a look at this. Colin Wood. He's the lucky last. Lovely little snapper there from Colin.
Got to be a Magpie supporter with a name like that.
Is he? Oh, Colin. I bet you his middle name's George. So it's Colin G. Wood. He was out fishing with David Glennie from the Snapper. From
the Peninsula Snapper Challenge. Yes.
Actually, while we're talking
that would
to
have
him
been a good
live
weekend.
on 3MP,
Yep.
there you go. So, if you want to send in your pick of catch of the week, this is what you have to do.
If you want to be like me and have your photo on TV, email your fishing pic to info@ifish.com.au. Go Pies!
Yeah, I wanna go fishing.
And coming up, fisheries news, including how a helicopter was used to transport Macquarie Perch. Next on Talking Fishing.
Talking fishing.
We know what you'd rather be doing.
We know what you've really got in mind.
We know you'd rather be out fishing. And today's the day you're gonna wet a line. 'Cause every day's a good day.
Stop wishing.
Every day's a chance to drift away. Drift away.
Every day's a good day for fishing.
talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
Live from the studios of Channel 31 Melbourne, it's now time for some very fishy news.
And welcome back to Talking Fishing. Now, the headline reads, Werribee South boat ramp designs ready for review. Boaters are being encouraged to have their say on proposed upgrades at the Werribee South boat ramp as part of planned improvements by the Andrews Labor government. Better Boating Victoria has worked with coastal engineers to develop concept designs for the upgrade with public feedback, open for 4 weeks until Friday the 17th of December. The Werribee South facility is one of the busiest within Port Phillip Bay network and services a significant number of boaters on the western side of Melbourne. The ramp also provides access to Port Phillip Bay and Cara Bay as well as the Werribee River. The plans include adding 2 additional boat ramp lanes to make launching and retrieving boats more efficient, extra pontoons to allow more vessels to be berthed, and provisions for all future abilities access. Excuse me. Other proposed improvements include realigning the parking area to provide more boat preparation spaces away from the main ramp, along with additional entry and waiting lanes to increase and reduce queuing back to Beach Road. Now, I've got to say, it doesn't actually tell you in the media release how to have your say. I don't know, maybe that's a bit of an oversight. It doesn't tell you how to have your say. But anyway, I'm sure if you went on to VFA or Better Boating Victoria, it'd tell you. But that sounds like they're ticking all the boxes.
Yep.
It does.
All those attributes that you want at a boat ramp. So well done. I'm sure people will be able to have their say. Next headline is Fish Stocking Boost, all about the bass. I think it's all about the bass. You know that song?
It's all about the bass, about the bass.
That's the one.
How'd it go again?
Cara?
We don't really need to repeat that.
Recreational, this is exciting. Recreational fishers will be excited to hear 150,000 Australian bass fingerlings were stocked into 9 Victorian waters this week to improve freshwater fishing opportunities. The VFA's CEO Travis Dowling said the bass, I nearly said bass, the bass stocked this week all went into Gippsland lakes and rivers, with another 250,000 to come for 11 other waterways across the state. This enormous bass stocking effort of 400,000 fingerlings this season is part of a dedicated effort to stock a record 10 million fish by April 2022, funded by fishing licence fees and the state government's $35 million Go Fishing Victoria plan to get more people fishing more often. Blue Rock is an excellent example, and Cara, you and Dean fish there.
Dean has. I'm yet to get there, but it's on
beautiful place. Ads, you and I have been down there.
We have.
Blue Rock's an excellent example of how successful our bass stockings have been. In conjunction with on-water access improvements for small boats and kayaks, lure and bait fishers are regularly catching bass in good numbers, including in dedicated bass fishing competitions that are becoming more common. With another 50,000 bass to be stocked into Blue Rock this year, the lake will have received nearly 500,000 bass since 2010. That's a lot of fish.
That's a phenomenal amount of fish.
Yeah. That's got to make a difference, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
This season, the Mitchell River will receive 100,000 bass, and there's a few others. Cara, you've got the list.
I do. We've got them going to Snowy River, Cairn River, Latrobe River, Bull and Mary Lake, Tambo River, Thompson River, Tyers River, Ferntree Gully Quarry, Rainbow Creek and Valencia Creek, and many, many more.
We actually had a table of that and they
more
didn't
to come.
show it. People in the control room, have you got the table that you can put up? Anyway, I'm not...
There it is.
There we are. That was going to be up while you were reading it all out. So
just a few bass being thrown about.
Just a few.
How good's that?
And they're fun to catch. They're a good fish to chase.
I've got a photo of the bass. Have a look at them.
Very good.
They look like zebrafish, don't they? You think?
No, they could be lugic.
I love it. I'll tell you what. All right, let's have a look at this. Baby cod is the headline. We're going to show you a video in a minute, but your fishing licence fees are helping the VFA grow more Murray cod. And you're going to see some in a minute on your screen. It's all systems go at the Snobs Creek hatchery right now, with tray upon tray of cod larvae in our hatching house. The unseasonal spring weather this year means nearly all Murray cod broodfish have spawned within a fortnight of each other.
Oh, wow.
So
Just
all of them.
fantastic.
And it's busy for the Snobs team with lots of baby cod at the same stage of development. These larvae spend 3 to 4 weeks in custom-made trays eating live brine shrimp. Do you know what another name for live brine shrimp is?
Enlighten us.
Sea monkeys.
Oh, there you go.
Now, you're a bit younger, Cara, but
Kids have those.
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
that's what the baby cod eat. Who needs Uber Eats, it says.
Wow.
They've even gone in, then they go into plankton ponds outside, which are full of more good tucker to stack on some size before being stocked into Victoria's lakes and rivers. Oh, over here. Let's have a look at the video. Here's the baby cod swimming around. Oh, yeah, we're doing well.
Coming up.
Is it?
Yeah, that's
a little bit-
that is
it's a little bit awkward.
That is a great video. That is a great video. Might become a 1 metre long Cara Murray cod.
Surely.
Doesn't matter. Only if a few make it, it's
Yeah.
worth it, isn't it?
It's very good.
Yeah. All right, the big news. This is unique. I don't know if we've ever done this anywhere in fisheries in Australia, but the headline is the Macquarie chopper has landed. Thanks to the funding grant the VFA received from Landcare to help recover Macquarie Perch following the 2019-20 bushfires, they just landed a helicopter to transport Macquarie Perch broodfish collected from Lake Dartmouth to Snobs Creek Hatchery for their breeding program. The privileged VIP broodfish were collected from Lake Dartmouth by our Arthur Rylah Institute research partners at DELP. Mentioned DELP twice in a positive manner tonight. That's good.
Positive?
Well, you tried to clip him the first time.
And flown, I mean, they've stopped the whole Pippi fishery. Doesn't matter, $5 million and 20 jobs.
Stay positive,
and
Dave.
flown express via helicopter to Snobs Creek. It is hoped that the pampered treatment for the mummies and daddies will result in greater spawning success and increase the number of fingerling Macquarie Perch that can be produced and stocked into the Buffalo River, the King River and the Cudgewah Creek later this summer. Let's have a look at the photos. There's the chopper.
Oh, this
I reckon
is
that was
just
at
so
Crown
cool.
Casino last week. And so it's quite a nice one. And they catch the Macquarie Perch, and then there you go. Now there's Stevie Vidler behind the bag
Superstar.
with a beautiful Macquarie. They're good looking fish. Have a look at the fish. There you go.
Black gold.
Yeah.
Nice, eh? To complement the improved breeding and stocking of Macquarie Perch, the Landcare funding grant is also being used to improve the recovery of the species following bushfires through installing in-stream fish habitat at 2 sites, including boulder seeding, hardwood timber structures, fencing and revegetation, holding community planting weekends on riverbanks with recreational fishers, local Landcare groups, traditional owners and the general public, and communicating with and engaging the community in the Macquarie Perch recovery story. There you go.
I just want to give a big shout out to Shay Bloom from Corryong. She's one of our WRF leaders.
Yep.
And I know that she, along with Taylor Hunt, had a lot to do with getting this grant off the ground.
Wow.
There are so many other people I'm sure that were involved, but it's just incredible that, you know, because she lives in the areas where the bushfires had came through and were affected and stumbled across many, many thousands of dead fish, unfortunately. So to be able to positively now give back and, you know, rebuild these areas, it's incredible. So.
And Macquarie Perch were already pretty much in danger.
Absolutely.
Before the bushfires.
So to focus on them and to bring them back, they're an iconic Australian species, so it'd be such a shame to lose them. So this is brilliant.
Cara, you and I sit on the Snobs Creek Advisory Board too. We have a meeting in a couple of weeks' time, and we're probably going to hear about all that. And it's it's a great story for Macquarie Perch. I've never caught one. In fact, I've never ever seen one.
I've never seen one in the flesh either.
I think I've dropped one.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't quite get to see it, but it was in Snake Creek, so you do get them there. But yeah,
they just look so special.
they are. They're pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I've cooked one in cake form, but
Oh, you did
not
too?
a real.
Oh,
Yeah.
hey, tell us about that. What was that about?
Oh, put me on the spot now. It was the Commissioner of Threatened Species, and it was the Great Cake Bake Off for threatened species.
Yeah.
And so collectively, a group of Macquarie fishos got together and we
Macquarie
baked a school of macas and then entered them into the bake-off, and we took out that category. So that was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was.
I saw, and if anyone wants to get onto the VFA's Facebook page, there's a cracking photo of a silver perch.
Yeah, I saw that.
Did you see that?
Yeah. Oh.
Up near the Murray or something.
I can't remember where I saw it.
It was up north anyway.
Yeah.
North of Melbourne.
Okay.
And just before Bathurst.
Yeah, nice.
So somewhere in between. But I've never caught a silver perch either. You ever caught a silver perch?
Nah, I've seen one. It got it right to the boat.
Yeah, I've caught small
On the
ones.
Loddon. They're in the Loddon.
Are they?
I've caught small ones in the Murray. Scrubbies.
Yeah.
Worms about the only thing you'll get them on.
Are they?
They're pretty fish.
Yeah.
So that's what the country folk call their bream, isn't it?
Pretty much.
I think they just call it bream.
I think you might be right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not dissimilar.
Do you eat them?
Let's go with that.
No, you don't eat any iconic native fish. Thank you very much.
What? Remember those two
Sacrilege.
Murray cod I caught?
No, let's not go there. We are not going there.
You dong of it. I'm sorry.
No, we do not. I will never cook cod. I'm just putting it out there.
Hang on. Where's that list?
Don't add it to the
Take it
list.
off the list,
It's not
don't
happening.
You don't. You don't want to put Murray cod on there?
Don't you dare.
So,
Not even
no, we
going to
won't
Costco and buying Murray cod.
I'll check. Travis Dowling. He is the freshwater, expert. Although he doesn't catch them, but he's good at talking about them.
Yeah.
He'll probably let us
Same
know.
thing.
Can you eat silver perch? So, but anyway, we'll check in with Travis during the break, see if we can eat silver perch. Coming up next, product of the week, and Cara heads into the kitchen to cook up a treat. I tell you, I've seen it. It's unbelievable. Next on Talking Fishing.
Talking fishing.
Good morning, spotters. Stephanie speaking.
Product of the week, brought to you by Tackle World.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
Now, it's probably more of a public service announcement than product of the week this week. I've got, as you can see on the screen, I've got life jackets here. And it's more of a reminder that if you have an inflatable life jacket, you must check it and have it serviced, ready to go for the season, because it does creep up fast. And listen, this might be a little bit controversial, but you can service them yourself, but I probably wouldn't recommend it.
You just got to follow a sheet of paper, a guideline.
Yeah, it's easy to do.
Yeah.
You throw this one in the bin and you buy another one.
That is controversial.
Oh,
Where do you take it to
It's
get it serviced?
easier.
How do you
no,
get
you
them
can do it.
serviced?
No, in all seriousness, you can do it yourself. If you must jump onto the manufacturer's website, so check what jacket you've got, because they do slightly vary a little bit from jacket to jacket, and there are some jackets which you legally cannot service yourself. They must go back to a licensed person to do that. But generally it just means check the canister, weigh the canister. If there's any sign of corrosion or damage, it must go. It's a non-negotiable. You must change the canister. Generally they take about a 33 gram canister. It must be within 2 grams.
Yep.
Either side. Manually inflate the jacket, leave it for 24 hours, inspect pressure, make sure there's no pressure drop. Then I'm sure there's some other things, so please don't quote me on just what I've said. But make sure you fill out there's a little table inside of the jacket. Make sure you fill that out, because I know way too many people that have gone and done the right thing and not filled it out, and good luck trying to explain that you have done it. But listen, it's a lot. I still think you should just buy another one.
Yeah. Well,
really. Or get one of these.
Yeah, show us this one, Ads. I mean, is this for kayaks?
It is. So, it is.
It's good so they blend in, so when you run over them, you don't actually know you've run over them.
Yeah, exactly.
But they got a life jacket on.
Gonna clash with my outfit,
Safety first aid. No, this is a kayak jacket. Please be aware, if you own one of these jackets, it does not count as a legal life jacket if you are on a boat. It does have a different class. Because us kayak fishermen are special folk, we get special rules and regulations, Dave, and we can get away with the lighter jacket, but it doesn't count if you're on a boat. But the beauty with these, they don't have to be serviced because they're not inflatable.
Oh, is that
They're quite
just a
compact,
foam?
really,
That's
isn't
right.
it?
So they've got the foamy, floaty stuff in it.
Yep.
Pockets everywhere, so it's more of a, I guess, a fishing vest that doubles as a life jacket, whereas something
practical.
like your more traditional PFD yoke style that has the pull cord on it, you will have to service those. So just check them. If you're within 12 months, I think some jackets now, they can be pushed out to 2 years, but please double check with the manufacturer's website because they do slightly change per brand, but testing wise it'll all be fairly similar. But that's product of the week, not so much a new product.
This one's got all the pockets and all that too.
It does,
so
yeah,
if you're
it's
on
like
a kayak,
it's
you
like
can
a
have all
fishing
your
vest.
fishing...
Actually,
Yeah,
quite
it's
cool.
a fishing vest that...
I thought that was an inflatable.
No,
Yeah.
no. So you don't have to worry about servicing that.
Now, when you say kayak, what about like small punts and that sort of thing?
No,
would that
if you're
come
in a
under
boat,
boat?
it still falls under.
Regardless of the size.
PFD 2 or
Two.
PFD 3?
I think it's a PFD
Really?
2.
And you've got to have a PFD 1.
PFD 1
Yeah.
for a boat.
I think.
So there you go. It is a cool jacket, but only for kayakers.
And a convenient pocket in the back as well. That's going to be really
And
easy
that
to
little,
access.
see that little loop there? I'll just show you. Can I see that little loop? I don't know if the camera can pick that up. That little loop there. You know what that's for? If you see a kayak, you cast your squidgy to
Here
it.
we go.
Oh, yeah, try and hook the bloke and then, you know, and just tie him
Go
along.
for it, mate. I
with the
will
jacket.
gladly inherit your squid jigs.
Anyway, love kayakers. I love them.
Clearly.
Particularly in Patterson River. All right, now it's time for Cara's
I'm looking forward to this.
cooking
Hang on, I need to
segment.
park these so that I can pay attention to this next segment.
Get ready because this is good.
Oh,
Have a look at
please.
this, what Cara's done in the kitchen this week.
Well, the festive season is quickly approaching. So over the next few weeks, I'm going to bring some really great recipes, tapas-style food that you can serve whilst entertaining. We're going to kickstart today's recipe with some sardine bruschetta. Using some great fresh ingredients for this recipe, lovely basil, cherry tomatoes, avocado, red onion, lemon, and we're going to use some goat's cheese as well. The sardine fillets are the star of the dish, so we want to make them shine. So I've got our fillets and I'm going to cut them into quarters, long ways, so nice strips. And we'll toss these through some corn flour, and this is going to really make them lovely and crispy and crunchy. We'll fry them up in some vegetable oil. Going to place our sardine strips into some hot oil. We'll do these in a couple of batches so we don't overcrowd the pan. They'll literally only take a couple of minutes to cook. Our sardine fillets are lovely and crispy. I've got them resting on some kitchen towel to absorb any of the excess oil. To put our bruschetta or bruschetta ingredients together, I have chopped up our avocado, the red onion, tomato and feta. We'll place these into a bowl with a little splash of olive oil and a squeeze of some lemon juice. And toss those through with your fingers. We'll toast up the bread and then we are ready to plate up. Choose a bread like a sourdough or Vienna loaf for this, as it'll toast up nicely. So I've just got some olive oil heating up on the pan here. And we will just place our bread on here, and they will toast up beautifully. Lash on the tops, but when we turn it over, both sides are coated. To plate up, we will spoon a generous serve of our mix on top of the bread. We've got beautiful textures covered here from the crunch in the bread and the sardines, and then we've got the softness in our tomatoes, the avocado and the feta. You can be quite generous here. And these also look great if you're using slices of baguette, really cute on a platter. We will top off with a couple of our sardine strips. We don't need to add any extra salt because they're quite salty on their own. A little bit of lovely fresh basil. And we can squeeze some additional lemon or use it as a garnish. And there we have our absolutely Moorish sardine bruschetta.
I won't
Now-
be wasting any pillies.
You just said pillies, I just laughed. I tell you, pillies. I've got
There
questions.
is nothing wrong with bait fish.
Yeah.
No, I've got questions though.
Go.
Corn flour
Yes.
versus, I would have just put them in normal flour. Why corn flour?
It gets crispier.
Does it?
So, yeah. So it actually cooks at a higher temp,
Yeah.
and you'll get that real crunchy crispness that you don't get from normal flour.
All right, now the other thing I've got is this is a real problem. Right, Cara, where am I going wrong? I think you're the guy that's saying. If we were doing something in flour,
Yeah.
all down the shirt, all over the hands, all over the chopping board, all over the bench. What is going? How do you like stop?
I
take
think
three?
It's just a male thing. I think
all over my
we
shirt.
can just multitask that little bit better.
Really?
Whereas, yeah.
I get flour everywhere.
But even if I drop everything and just make that my primary task,
I still couldn't do it.
I'll give you some lessons.
Incredible. All right, coming up next, Kramer's Mailbag. Plenty more to come on Talking Fishing.
Talking fishing.
G'day, Callan here from Paul Worsland's Tackle World Cranbourne. Supercharged batteries have been supplying maintenance-free marine batteries since 2001. The Seamaster Gold range is second to none, delivering superior starting power and reserve capacity. No need to top up with water, truly a fit and forget battery. With up to 2 years replacement warranty, you know you have quality. Your battery is your lifeline. Without it, you're dead in the water because it's bloody hard to push start. I've got a Seamaster battery in my boat. Make yours a Seamaster Gold today.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
And welcome back to Talking Fishing. Adam and Cara in the house. David Glennie, I'm just going to read this, writes in from the Peninsula Snapping Challenge. Pretty sure that the zebrafish is related to the ludric. Ludric have one extra stripe.
I didn't say anything about who had the extra stripe.
And don't inhabit water much past lake's entrance. Zebrafish very common out on our local offshore reefs. Thank you for that, David. If you could send in a recipe
Can you eat them, David?
for zebrafish, that'd be great. Well done. And love to know how your comp's going as well, because
live reports.
that comp
That one
started
goes till this Saturday or Sunday, doesn't it?
Yeah. It started last week.
till Sunday, and I think they do the announcements on Monday night.
Yeah, it's a virtual presentation.
But they had a cracking day Saturday.
Yeah, that's right.
For the start of the
Just
comp.
looking at our catch of the week, I mean, goodness. They've certainly done well.
All right, mailbag. First one here. This is from Gary. Gary writes, "Hi, Dave and crew. As I write this email, it's Saturday, the 20th of November 2021, and just about 2 hours after the low tide at Clifton Springs boat ramp.
Beautiful spot.
Is it?
It is, it's lovely.
Well, not for some.
Oh.
The car park is full and overflowing into local neighbourhood streets, and I've just watched the 20th boat run aground at the entrance to the boat ramp harbour over the last 4 hours. In recent weeks, I've seen a police boat run aground, and the Coast Guard gets stuck while trying to rescue someone who was grounded.
I hope you filmed it.
For over 2 hours. Last month, attempts were made by a long-reach excavator to clear the entrance, but it couldn't reach far enough to make a lasting difference, and it really just needs proper attention and dredging, just like the rest of the bay.
But that had a full remake a couple of years ago. That was a tiny little pier, and now it's like this amazing.
Well, we're going to see a photo in a second. In fact, let's put the photo up now if we can. When contacted by a fellow boat owner, Tom.
Oh, it is tight, isn't it?
Yeah, so they're running aground. It says, Tom from Better Boating Victoria responded, the City of Greater Geelong is the asset manager of Clifton Springs boat ramp. Better Boating Victoria provided funding in February this year. This is becoming a bit of a common theme here. They provided funding in February 2021 for the City of Greater Geelong to progress design upgrade works to the car park overflow area. Recently, Better Boating Victoria also commissioned a hydrographic survey to ascertain dredging levels at Clifton Springs. This is not BBV's role, but to help expedite dredging in the harbour entrance, they took that step. The lack of action by the City of Greater Geelong means the boat ramp could well and truly qualify to be renamed the Clifton Springs Joke Ramp.
That's such a shame. It's a beautiful area.
Do you know what? If I wind the clock back 3 or 4 years, the City of Greater Geelong used to be probably the best maintainer of boat ramps. I might be corrected by the people at home, but they used to really look after their boat ramps. Something's gone wrong. Have they neglected
changed.
boat ramps or something? Anyone that works at Geelong Council want to dob your bosses in? It'd be great to hear from
Probably
you.
not.
You never know.
You never know.
Someone from Delpo
Anonymous.
into Catch of the Week, you know.
That's true.
True.
Which says that someone
Stranger things have happened.
There's 8 million people work for Delpo, and one of them likes fishing. The rest hate it. Brett Geddes, our good friend, reporter from Dan and Gippsland, he writes in. It's starting to become a pattern of behaviour with Brett too.
No, it's good because he's got some interesting stuff going on.
We need to get him on the show.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. This is Brett writes. Check out my. He's actually trying to rival you, Cara.
Bring it on.
Trying to rival Cara. Check out my yummy catch from Port Albert. A pike, nice whiting. Have a look at this. And also 3 thumping sea gars. I cooked the gars under the griller. They were so thick I cooked them standing up instead of on their side. Have a look at that. So standing up there, butterflied. And on the plate, Brett Geddes.
Oh, look at that.
Yum.
Brett Geddes, thank you.
Have you ever done the old beer bottle trick with your gar fillets?
My grandmother taught me that.
Yeah.
So you roll the bones while they crack.
Yes.
And then when you cook it,
Then you just
peel
peel
the
them
bone
off.
out. My grandma at Dalmeany, which is just out in Narooma, we used to catch gars in the little
awesome.
lake there.
Yeah.
Go home, grandmum would roll them and
Lovely memories.
yeah, great memories. Yeah. All right. Okay, just a few short ones here. Vince writes. Oh no, actually, first Bruce writes. Hi Dave, Bruce again. Tell me it's not true you actually paid for that haircut.
Brucey!
Hey, I'm going along. In fact, because of you, Bruce, I'm not getting a haircut for the whole rest of the season, right?
Yes.
Maybe the last show, you and I can give him a haircut.
Okay, all right.
There we go.
So that's from Bruce. Then Vince writes, thanks Vince. Bruce is right. I think Rocco the hairdresser needs new glasses. Oh, I know Rocco.
Poor Rocco.
Rocco's only doing what he's told.
Shannon writes, how many of these stocked fish actually make it to a fisherman's line? Now that is a good question. Yeah, but that's a good debate because when you think of 10 million fish are going to be put in this year, will those 10 million end up in on a fisherman's line? No, they won't. There's no doubt about it. And I reckon there's been debate for decades as to whether you do fingerlings versus yearlings.
Yep.
All right, and I mean, Cara from Snobs Creek, you know the infrastructure there. If you want to produce, say, 500,000 fish, then they kind of got to be that big because you need tanks to hold them.
Yeah, that's right.
If you were to hold 500,000 fish that big, you'd probably have to.
It's a whole new setup.
You'd have to have 20 times the size of Snobs Creek.
Yeah.
And the infrastructure would cost probably millions and millions of dollars.
Absolutely.
So, it's a fine balance. I think fisheries do a great job in that balance of, like we spoke about, was it last week about the Chinook salmon?
Yeah, that's
last
right.
week.
Yep.
So, old Kanga, Kanga's keeping 35,000 Chinook salmon, and he's going to grow them to yearlings. But you've got to have a big tank to do that. So, it's a balance between what infrastructure you've got and actually put him in and going, well, a percentage of those fish will survive. And you look at Eildon.
Yep.
There was a I think it was called Project 1 Million. So don't get it.
Not Target 1 million.
Not Target 1 million. It was something like Project 1 million, and that was to stock 1 million Murray cod into Lake Eildon, and they did it. And look at the fishery we've got now.
Oh, it's incredible now.
Yeah.
You get in meateries, and it's a well-known fisheries.
And not, those million fish didn't end up being 1 metre long.
No, that's right.
But a percentage of them did, and we've got a great fishery. And Geordie writes in, this is harsh. I built this. Geordie writes, that set is boring as buggery, needs a serious mural or something.
Okay. So
I really want a Christmas fire.
So
we are coming up to the festive season.
Jump onto Facebook. What are your suggestions for the fancy mural at the front?
What's wrong with the set? Those
can we go back to the
wide
big shot? Let's see the front. Yeah, yawn.
I tend to agree with you.
Yeah,
it's a bit dated.
Needs a bit of something, Dave.
Kev's been on an RDO since September. Like if Kev was here, Kev needs to come in.
The lights are pretty, but you know.
Yeah. Anyway, that's it. If you'd like to write into Kramer's Mailbag, this is what you do.
Send your mail to Kramer's Mailbag, PO Box 734, Patterson Lakes, Victoria 3197, or email kramer@ifish.com.au.
Cara, we want to talk yellow belly now.
Yeah.
It's as much snapper season in Port Phillip Bay as it is yellow belly season in freshwater, isn't it?
Yep.
They are they've been started for a couple of weeks now. I think ordinarily we would have had a huge influx of yellows coming through, but the weather, the rain, I think we're a few weeks behind. But the water's starting to warm up. Once we sort of hit that 23 upwards, we're going to really start to get
What,
some...
water degrees?
Yeah, they love the warm water.
Oh, we're just waiting for 18.
Yeah, well. Well, you know, like Hume Weir, that's doing fantastic.
Yeah.
I think because up there it is a little bit warmer as well. And the lake turns, so the temperature's coming up to the banks, so bank fishing's doing really well. Bit more closer to home, like I know our area, like Cancurran's doing really well, Lake Epilock, I'm trying to think where else, but no, they're certainly starting to fire.
Technique for bank fishing for yellow belly, what do you do?
I'm seeing a lot on bait, so good old worms. Otherwise, your little jackals, the
TN 50s and 60s.
That's the one.
But if you're using bait, what do you like? What's the rig? Running sinker or fixed sinker? Do you cast out, retrieve the worms back up the bank? What do you do?
You're getting too technical for me. I don't bait fish, but just get the worm in the water.
Ultra light. Well, it's kind of we see it through the shop. We approach it like brim fishing.
Yeah.
So as light as you physically can. They do have some weight behind
They're
them.
aggressive.
So
they'll take. They're not going to be shy.
Yeah. So we get a lot of we sell a lot of yabbies. It's like every week. Sell out in 2 days. And from what I can gather, they as little as weight as possible, but cast that yabby out as far as you can. Get it out, let it sink to the bottom. Even let your line, sink for 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, that's right.
And then just a slow retrieve up the bank, and they're obviously getting a few.
Yeah, and this time of year you get those incredible scenes where you catch one, bring it up to the boat or the bank, and there's 30
they're spawning,
off and behind.
So they're hanging out together.
Yeah, it's cool. You can net your fish and 3 behind it.
You know what we don't know a lot about? Like we know about all the spawning patterns of snapper, of whiting, of calamari, of Murray cod, and I mean the breeding. What's the spawning habits of yellow belly? Do they need a river? Do they need gravel? Are they spawning a lake?
So do they spawn in Eildon? They obviously go through the motions. They go through the motions, but are they viable?
Yeah, they're certainly more like river systems that you get in them. But in saying that, like Epilock, that is a big lake, so. They obviously do.
It's interesting.
There you go. All right, coming up next, the all-important hotspots and plenty more. Next on Talking Fishing.
Talking Fishing.
The Beaumaris Motor Yacht Squadron is a trailer boat and social club on Port Phillip Bay. The club has a great range of facilities, including multiple boat ramps, ample car and trailer parking, boat wash and fish cleaning, fishing competitions and boat safety lectures, boating activities and club events, a restaurant and 2 bars. Easy launch and retrieval makes for a relaxing time on the water for you, your family and friends to enjoy. And boating memberships are now available. The Beaumaris Motor Yacht Squadron, the best trailer boat experience on the bay.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
And now the segment you've all been waiting for, Fishing Hotspots, brought to you by the Beaumaris Motor Yacht Squadron, Melbourne's premier trailer boat club.
And welcome back to Talking Fishing, the all-important hotspots. And to be honest, I haven't even looked at the weather for what's coming up. Is it
a lot of rain?
A lot of rain. Again?
Yep.
Again.
Did they announce in the paper today, I think El Niño's back and we're going to have a wet summer?
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, and they reckon Collingwood's not going to do any good next year as well.
Probably not.
Oh, that was the other day. No one
saw that in the paper as well.
Talking about.
And they called that bloke that's driving the Nissa Patrol, they got him.
Oh,
It wasn't Button Man. Anyway, there you go. Lots of news happening today. Hotspots. Black Rock Snapper is number 1. Have a look at this. If you're heading out this weekend and you can get a break, RDO, if there's a good weather spot. Blackrock was the place to be.
Kayak fisherman's dream. Black
Yeah,
Rock,
you don't have to
Dave.
go far out to
plenty
get to
of
the
plenty of
snapper
structure
reefs.
in close, and you're every chance at a 4 kilo plus fish bumping a plastic.
The other place I reckon this time of year, which is fantastic, and it's kind of you're pushing right to the end of the deep water before you get all the channels, the shipping channel, the Hovell Pile. Not that far away, Mount Martha Snapper, out deep.
Yeah,
is a great place for snapper this time of year.
Yeah, it is. We generally associate that deep water with a later snapper bite, but in any other year, we'd be getting to that point right now. It's going to be interesting because we've already seen some good fish come from the deep in the peninsula.
I've heard some whispers of this place, and I know Don Newman gets down there. He actually tags whiting and often catches the fish that he's already tagged years earlier, and they don't move that far. Sandy Point down towards Balnarring, there's some big whiting around there. Fish early morning, if you can get out there before sunrise.
Yep.
Early morning,
squid strips.
46, 47 centimetre whiting down Sandy Point at the moment. And snapper for this week, I know there's a lot being caught off lysards, but you can only put lysards up so many weeks in a row.
And there's too many bronzies around there as well.
And whiting, I think David Glennie said whiting. But have a look, there it is, silver leaves. Steve Johnson is raving about silver leaves at the moment, saying it's a great place. All right, let's head to inland now. Lake Epilock Yellowbelly. Tell us about Lake Epilock, Cara.
Oh, I have a love-hate relationship with Epilock. It's one of those waterways where it's either doing really well or you want to pack up and go home. Yep. We've had a lot of luck with cod and yellows, redfin as well. But some days you'll just go thinking, the prime conditions, and you just can't find anything.
Is Lake Epilock full of timber?
There is a lot of structure.
Yeah.
There's even sort of like areas, with mud flaps, you can sort of, beach the boat and hop out. And, we were there a couple of weeks ago and all the carp were coming up and mating in the mud flaps, which was pretty cool. So the kids thought that was a bit of fun. We're trying to catch them just with nets, like they were literally in front of your feet.
Really?
That's cool. Yeah. But no, it's a lovely area and it's huge. So
there you go. So get up to Lake Epilock, and lucky last, Lake Tyers. Look what's being caught there: whiting, kingfish, and crocodiles. What a variety! Now, you know what? I joined a Facebook page because I'm not into Instagram. I can't work. No, Lake Tyers Fishing Group, I think it is. Okay. And you get photos. I don't know. People take. They're obviously retired guys because they fish every day. But King George whiting caught in Lake Tyers. In Lake Tyers this week. Last week we saw a yellowtail, a guy walking the banks, flicking plastics for flathead, got a 71 centimetre yellowtail kingfish in Lake Tyers.
Incredible.
That's cool.
And of course when we refer to crocodiles, we're talking about big dusky flathead. Lots of them coming out of there. So there's your hotspots. You've got to get down to Lake Tyers before Christmas because it just gets flooded with people and may as well write it off for a month. Oh, it's still okay, but a lot of people. Ads, boat ramps.
Yes, Dave, you touched earlier in the show that you did the great boat ramp tour of the peninsula last week. Tyrone, Tookarook, Anthony's Nose, those type of places really interested me because they seem to be sanded over more often than not.
Yeah.
Obviously, that is weather related. We have tide, we have wind, we have current, the whole lot. Is it possible to actually maintain that to a point where the boat ramps are usable for 10 of the 12 months of the year?
Absolutely there is. As a kid, in fact, I'm just going to work out the year. In 1968, right, my grandparents bought a house and land package in Blair Gowrie for $12,000. Decimal currency just come in, stop pounds, in Blair Gowrie. And we lived, we didn't live. We spent our Christmases there at the holiday house. It was a little shack made of asbestos, and so I've survived. And you'd walk down to the beach, and you know what? There was all these timber groins along the beach. Now, those timber groins have deteriorated from the 60s and the 70s when they were built. And I think the only way to build them would be to get some sort of permit from DELP. And what was that guy's name? I don't know if he's in charge of...
Carry on.
He might be in charge of groins, right? He might be the manager of groins. But what they need to do is build groins.
Yeah.
It's simple, ads. Build a groin.
Yep.
It catches the sand. The sand doesn't wash onto the boat ramp. You've got a boat ramp that works.
Okay, so the next question is from there. Why does there seem to be this pushback on creating those structures to stop that from happening? Is it environmental? Is it money? Or is it they just cannot be bothered? Because it seems to be a fairly easy solution. I mean, if they had just some wooden groins that were there and that they lasted for decades and did the job, how have they not been rebuilt or designed in a more modern way that they don't have to be maintained as much? What is it? Is it a money thing? Is it an environmental thing? I just don't understand why we seem to turn our nose up at creating something to stop the sand from filling in those reefs.
Why is Flinders Jetty caged off? Why is Mornington's Fisherman's Jetty caged off? Why are 2 piers at Warneet caged off? Why is Brighton Pier caged off, although they might have worked on that one? Why is Williamstown Pier caged off? There's no care factor. There is no one who's actually going, we need to maintain these facilities for boating, for fishing, for people that want to walk on piers. There's no one. There's no one in this Victorian government who sees this infrastructure as important. And that's why we've tried to change boat ramps, because they were neglected for 40, 50 years. And we've now got Better Boating Victoria established. We've now got the Better Boating Fund, which receives $30 to $33 million a year. And there is now, through Catherine Greck, a strategy to maintain and improve boat ramps for the future. But that is totally missing when it comes to groins. You know, so Better Boating can only do so much.
Yeah, that's right.
They don't control. Like they have to ask permission. In fact, they're not in the business of building groins. It's DELP. It's Parks Victoria. It's that Department of Environment, and there's a lot of people that need to answer some questions there, Ads. But I've got no doubt those boat ramps weren't built 50, 60 years ago, and when in the first week of building them, they were covered in sand. That didn't happen.
Yeah.
There were groins.
Yeah.
There's evidence of those groins there, but they've deteriorated and never been replaced, and they need to be.
We're outgrowing the facilities. Well, we've outgrown the facilities already, and by keeping these small ones up and running, it does take pressure off the bigger facilities like the Patterson Lakes and Sorrento, just to spread the load a little bit.
Yeah.
I can't work it out.
I'd like to see, like a place like Tyrone, I'd like to see that, and I'm not saying it needs to be totally this, but it could be a jet ski ramp.
Yeah.
Keep the little trailers
to the
and the jet
ramps.
skis off ride boat ramp.
Yeah.
So ride boat ramps there for the bigger boats, for the big fishing boats, and move the jet skis to other areas, and I'm not saying they have to, but it's not a bad option. But
doesn't feel like it's even being discussed.
No, it's bad. So anyway, and Flinders Pier, don't get me started on Flinders Pier, it needs to be rebuilt, and the government needs to commit to rebuilding Flinders Pier. Anyway, that's it for Talking Fishing. Hope you enjoyed the show. Next week, a special guest in the studio from the VFA. He does all sorts of different stuff. Should be a great episode. Until we see you again next Tuesday on Talking Fishing, please stay safe on the water and enjoy your fishing.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing. We got all you need, just take a look. Watch those fish jump on your hook. So just relax and take your time. Enjoy the show, then drop us a line. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing. Talking fishing.
Have a good weekend, Mr. Walker.
You too, son.